Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be about my January budget recap and February money goals going forward for the rest of the month of February. This topic is something that I want the bulk of my channel content to be about because I love budgeting. I love talking about budgeting. I love watching other YouTubers and their budgeting videos and their debt-free journeys. And I find it so inspiring. So I love that other people are going out there and making the topic something that more and more people are talking about. I think it's really unfortunate that money has kind of been a faux pas topic. It certainly was in my household growing up. And I think more people should be talking about it because I think it's something that so many people, myself included, kind of struggle with or at least have to deal with every day. And I feel like the more people talking about it, the less kind of stigma there is about it, and hopefully more and more people get inspired to start talking about it and doing something about it. So I want to start doing these monthly budget recaps every month going forward, and eventually I am going to make kind of an overall debt journey video of how I got to where I am today from where I started, fresh after grad school graduation to now. So it can hopefully outline a little bit better my background and where I'm coming from. But for today, we'll just start with January. And I have this 2021 planner that I bought because I want to start handwriting out my monthly budgets going forward. For the last 5 years, I've been tracking my budget electronically using Google Sheets. And that's been fantastic. It's been a way for me to track my monthly expenses. And when I pay them off, I kind of mark it as paid. But in 2020, I actually started tracking my kind of discretionary expenses, if you will, like groceries, gas, vet and medical expenses, as well as shopping, which I kind of just lumped everything that wasn't groceries, gas, vet and medical, everything else got lumped in shopping. So for 2021, I kind of want to break that down further and see exactly where my money is going, as well as not just expense wise, but also sinking funds and debt pay down. So I want to break that down monthly and just kind of have a better idea of how I'm doing going forward. So in my planner, I'm going to take just a blank notes sheet that's in the back of every month and kind of write that all out. But I kind of jumped the gun on January and wrote it out like a couple months ago, and it's not exactly formatted how I like, so there's a lot of scribbles and line outs because I forgot things and added things in, moved things around, so it just doesn't look so pretty. So for January, and I actually did it for February too, but that's okay. I just rewrote everything in this other notebook for now, so it looks a lot cleaner. And I'll show you guys this in a second, but I just wanted to explain. I think going forward, I'm going to get a bullet journal. Not this year, because I already bought this notebook and I might as well use it. I don't want to be wasteful, but probably for next year, I'm going to get a bullet journal just because I love how all the other YouTubers that I watch, they use a bullet journal, and I really like the look of it and how it's very customizable. So, but for now, we have this kind of line format, which is fine. So let's get into it. Okay, so here's the close-up of what my written monthly budget looks like. So at the top, I have my income, and then the next section is my expenses, and then my debts, and then my sinking funds. So let's just start at the top with income. The only income I have right now is from my W-2 job. And as a goal amount, this amount of $4,932 is kind of the base amount that I would ever make. That is just working straight 40 hours, no overtime, no shift differential or anything like that. But my job is a rotating shift schedule, so I do get, typically every month, I do get some overtime and shift differential. There's holiday pay, so it can fluctuate, but that's just, my goal will always be kind of the base least amount I'll ever make. And so I budget everything based on that amount, and anything I make over that is just extra. So for the month of January from my W-2 job, I actually brought home $7,496. And again, that's after tax. That's what I actually took home. So that's good. We exceeded the goal there. And then down to my expenses, I pay $1,000 in rent every month, and I'm very fortunate in that includes all utilities as well, including internet. So my rent is just $1,000 every month, and that's extremely cheap for my area. It's not glamorous. I live in a someone's like converted basement studio apartment, and that's by choice. I've been downsizing my living expenses for the last few years just because I am trying to save money and focus more on paying off my debt. So my budget for rent was $1,000, and I paid $1,000. And the next one is my student loans. So over the last 2 years, I have paid off all of my private student loans. That was, I think, around like $42,000. And so the only loans that I have left are all my federal loans, and they're all with Fed Loan Servicing. My monthly payment, minimum payment for them is $705.69. But as I'm sure many of you know, the student loans are on forbearance right now, and so there is no payment required, and they're not accruing any interest. So at this time, I did not put any money towards them this month. And then the next thing is my gym membership. I do have a membership to Planet Fitness. Unfortunately, that is something I had to sign up for. We do have a gym at work, but as soon as the coronavirus hit, they have closed it and have not reopened it since. So now I am having to pay for Planet Fitness. So that's $22.99 every month, and that is exactly what I paid. So that's great. Netflix, $17.99 every month. That's what I paid. Sprint, my monthly cell phone bill is usually $60.90, but for whatever reason, it fluctuates a little bit with taxes and other fees. It was $61.04 for the month of January, and so that is a difference of 14 cents over. Not a big deal. All right, so groceries and food, which I just counted as groceries or eating out, I budgeted myself $400. And I actually spent, embarrassingly, $492.87. So that is a difference of, went over by $92.87, unfortunately, but that happens. All right, next category is gas and car wash. I don't always budget for car wash, but this is wintertime in New England, and we salt the hell out of the roads. So in a, I guess, effort of preservation for my poor car, I absolutely budget myself some money for car wash. And for gas, I normally spend probably $25 to $30 a month. I live very close to work. I'm less than, I think, 2 miles away, so I don't have a big commute, but I did drive up to Maine this month and meet up with my mom, so I did spend a little bit extra in gas. I had to fill up twice. And I got a couple car washes, so the total I spent on that was $75.68. So I went over by $15.68, and that's fine. All right, car maintenance. This is not something I budget for every month. Like I said, I have a short commute, so I'm not needing oil changes every single month, but I knew I had a mileage milestone maintenance that I need to schedule for the month of January. And it was kind of nice. While I was there, they actually also did my registration a couple months early, so got that taken care of as well. And it didn't quite cost $300. It was only $257.88. So I was a little bit under there, which is great. And then the next category is chiropractor. chiropractor is something newer for me. I started seeing one in 2020, and I was having chronic lower back pain for years, and that has immensely helped that. So I absolutely consider chiropractor, as well as massage for that matter, I consider these self-care items, so I have no problem spending money on these items. So chiropractor, it costs me $40 a visit, and I typically try to see him every week. But for the month of January, I unfortunately missed a week, so I only got to see him 3 times. So I spent $120, so that's good. I was a little bit under budget there. And then massage, I have a monthly membership to the local massage place near me, and that's always $75 a month, and that's exactly what I spent. Shopping, I budgeted myself $50. I'm really trying to be better with that. I want to have a quote-unquote low-buy year this year. I think I mentioned in the beginning of this video, but in 2020 I started tracking my shopping, and throughout that whole year I averaged about $1,000 a month, and that is just way too much. So but I do want to give myself a little bit of room, because I also put other things like haircuts and things like that in shopping. So I don't want to say $0 because that's just not really realistic for me, but 50 seems pretty reasonable. Unfortunately, I did go over this month because I did buy, I did get a haircut, for example, as well as I bought some camera gear and some other things. So I actually ended up spending $205.16. So I went over by $155.16. It's not bad. It's a heck of a lot better than $1,000, but I'm gonna try better for next month. And then pet supplies. I always budget $25 a month for cat food, litter, things like that. I did go a little bit over, and I spent $45.90. So I went over by $20.90. So another thing for January that I have to write in here. Unfortunately, I did have an emergency, and I needed to pull from my kind of cash reserves that I'm holding as my emergency fund at this moment. I had 2 cats, and one of them had to go to the emergency vet she was there for about 12 hours before she unfortunately passed away. And that was really awful, but absolutely necessary, and I would have done again, hands down. But I ended up that costing me $2,000. Oh, I already messed that up. $389.31. So it's very unfortunate, horribly sad, but you know, it's life, and these things happen, and there's not much we can do about them, but try to be as prepared as we can. So overall, not bad. Not great, but not bad. Try better for February. That's all we can do. Now my next category is my debts. Like I said, I have student loans remaining with Fed Loan Servicing. This is a huge anxiety-inducing number, $185,900.22. And this is the main reason I am doing this debt-free journey. I want that gone so badly. And so 2021 is the year where I want to start tackling that number. Sadly, I have been paying, before the coronavirus hit and they started the forbearance, I had been paying on that, and the balance is so big that my monthly payments don't even touch the interest. So the balance just has gone up every single month since I graduated grad school. And it sucks. It sucks. Right out of grad school, I was not making a lot of money, and so my minimum payments were like $100 and something. It doesn't even scratch the surface of the interest that accrues on that kind of a balance. And it's been so frustrating and so discouraging. And I want these out of my life. So that is the main focus of the whole point of why I'm doing this. Those gotta go. even though I know they're in forbearance until September now, the end of September. Who knows if that's going to change? I don't know. There's so many stories floating around about student loans, but I don't care. Like I want and need to start paying on those and get rid of that. Like of this whole amount, the outstanding interest right now as it stands is something like $7,600 and something dollars, and that's just disgusting. I want to get those. Got to go. Unfortunately, because I had actually before I say that, and then the next item is it a 401k loan I took through my Fidelity 401k. I started at $10,000. I didn't technically need it, but I took it out just because, or I should say I took it out in case I needed it. Part of my investing strategy going forward is to start real estate investing, and so I'm working on closing on my first rental property. And so I took $10,000 out just in case I needed it, and I really didn't end up needing it. So I want to pay this off in the next couple months. Unfortunately, with this vet emergency that I had, that was money that was going to go to this Fidelity loan. But, you know, again, life happens and there's nothing we can do about that. So I didn't get to put as much towards that as I wanted to. So for Fed loan, I did not pay anything for the month of January. So I still owe the full $185,922. And Fidelity, I was able to put some towards it. I paid $376.01, and there is like $198 and some odd cents that comes out of my paycheck every month that gets automatically applied to this loan. So that's where that came from. So the final balance was $8,315.34, and so I do plan to put a lot more towards that Fidelity loan in February. All right, so the next category is my sinking funds. Basically, at this time, I just have a general emergency fund goal of $10,000. I want to contribute the full $6,000 that I'm able to my Roth IRA for the year. I want to have $2,000 set aside for vet or medical expenses. I've been debating whether or not that's enough, just because, you know, January showed me that just in a 12-hour period, that's $2,400. If she had lived and had to stay there any longer, it would have been astronomically more than that. So I don't know, that maybe that'll change going forward. But for right now, it's $2,000. I want to set $1,000 aside every year for car maintenance. That's probably generous, but you never know. And then the last sinking fund I have is $25,000 for my next investment property. I don't know if that's something I'm going to be able to get to for 2021, but it's certainly on the list and it's a goal. So that being said, I was not able to contribute to any of these this month just because of this emergency, and then getting rid of debt is my priority over my sinking funds at this time. So we'll see how this goes. And that being said, I may have this $10,000 covered already. I do have a good amount sitting in my savings account for my investment property number one that I'm working on closing on right now, and I should be closing on that property hopefully sometime in the month of February, and I'm not going to need all of the money that I have saved for it. So hopefully I already have that covered, but I'm not going to count it for now, just because you never know, and it's not officially in my emergency fund account. So as of now, we have not officially contributed to any of my sinking funds. Okay, so that's that. Well, guys, that was it for the January budget recap, and I think I alluded to my February money goals a couple times, but I certainly want to contribute a big chunk towards that Fidelity loan, and I'm also really hoping I can close on my investment property so that by the month of March we can start seeing income from that, which would be fantastic. So I hope you got a little inspiration from this video, and keep pushing forward with your debt-free journey, and I hope you join me in the next one. Bye. follow along with their